article published by Raw Story on Saturday, December 9, accuses Alina Habba, who now represents Donald Trump, of committing severe offenses. Tim Parador's withdrawal from the former president's legal team just before Trump's indictment in the Mar-a-Lago classified materials case caused these accusations. The attorney-client privilege is a cornerstone of professional ethics, and Habba's public disclosures may have compromised it, according to Parador. This video will explain everything. To start receiving our daily breaking news updates, please subscribe and enable alerts before I continue. Much obliged. Parador voiced his disapproval of the breach of confidentiality and stressed the need to protect privileged conversations during his Friday night interview on CNN's Laura Coates Live. "We don't publicly announce that I advised my client of something, and he disagreed," the attorney stated, while acknowledging that lawyers often disagree with their clients. When discussing the attorney-client relationship, Parador laid heavy emphasis on the ethical standards that regulate interactions between the two parties. Outside of the context of the professional relationship, he stressed, it is crucial not to divulge any client advice. While advising a client, you are not to discuss privileged communications in front of the cameras. Such discussions should take place only between you and the client. Pader made it plain that that was insane. These accusations carry even more significance as they coincide with Trump's expected testimony in a civil fraud case involving $250 million on Monday. Her recent appearance on Fox News further stoked questions about Habba's handling of personally identifiable information. During her appearance with Martha MacCallum of Fox News, Habba seemed to be debating strategy with her famous client in a way that some could find rude. Notably, she upheld Trump's right to testify even though she warned him not to answer questions because of the gag order. In his efforts to get the gag order lifted, Habba cited constitutional violations as his main argument. She went on to say that Trump is within his rights to respond to any questions or concerns raised during the hearings. Outside and inside the courts, Trump's actions have had consequences, and those consequences are not insignificant. Justice Arthur Engoron of the New York State Supreme Court's ruling is putting the Trump Organization's ability to conduct business in New York at stake, and violations of the gag order have resulted in fines of up to $115,000 being levied. The ex-president vehemently denies the claims of pervasive fraud leveled by New York Attorney General Letitia James and her prosecution, setting the stage for the legal drama. They have caused a great deal of worry and discussion, even on this initial day. Michael Cohen's stark warning about potential actions against neighboring countries and this comment further highlight the contentious nature of Trump's prospective return to power in 2024. Cohen's criticism of the president, considering their former close relationship and the damage that followed, enriches our understanding of Trump's leadership style and goals. Always keep in mind that Cohen's personal experiences and legal issues shape his viewpoint and, by extension, his opinions regarding the political climate. The fact that Trump is ahead of Biden in the polls shows how public opinion is changing and how unpredictable the next election is. The fact that the poll also included independent and third-party candidates suggests that there is more to politics than just the two main parties. In the end, these events show how important it is to follow the news and analyze political news critically. Coming up in the 2024 election, people must participate fully in the political process and make informed choices by learning everything they can about the topics and candidates. For more insights like these, subscribe to our channel and leave a comment with your ideas. Your participation helps shape our content and improves political conversation. American politics is already at a high temperature, and recent remarks by Donald Trump, including his reaction to questions about a possible 2024 presidential run, have only served to fan the flames. His indifference to questions of authoritarianism and democracy exemplifies the schisms in American politics and the divisive character of his political presence. Trump's claim that the accusations against him are false and spread by Democrats is just another example of his famous tactic of undermining his opponents and bolstering his own story. As an example of his signature contentious and polarizing political speech, he portrays President Biden as the true enemy of democracy. A portion of the population and political spectrum share the anxieties voiced by Liz Cheney and others about the potential nation's descent into a dictatorship under Trump's presidency in 2024. By focusing his "dictator for a day" remark on certain concerns, such as border security and oil production, Trump attempts to minimize the seriousness of his comment while retaining his staunch position on these matters. The fact that Trump continues to dominate Republican primary polls and that people are talking about his running for president in 2024 shows how influential and relevant he is to the Republican Party and American politics in general. There will certainly be heated arguments and discussions on Trump's political aspirations and their effects on American democracy as the 2024 presidential election draws nearer. Everyone has a responsibility to themselves and others to learn about the issues, listen to arguments on all sides, and cast their ballots in fair and impartial elections. Who among them could be able to undermine his authority? Even though Trump was conspicuously absent from the most recent Republican presidential debate, the emergence of possible opponents like Nikki Haley highlights the party's internal divisions. Still, Trump's loyalists and more conventional Republicans need to find a candidate who can bring them together. Senator Mitt Romney's doubts are reflective of the complicated political climate within the Republican Party right now. Despite the disapproval of certain party insiders, Trump continues to enjoy steadfast support from his base. With the primary election just around the corner, the party is at a crossroads where picking the correct approach and candidate might make all the difference. The underlying themes of fragmentation and the struggle for identity are evident in American politics today, and this dynamic within the Republican Party only serves to highlight them. Decisions taken today may affect the party's trajectory and cohesion for years to come, especially as it approaches the 2024 presidential race. Subscribing and enabling notifications will provide you with more in-depth analysis and updates on this developing political scenario. Post your comments here. We value your participation and viewpoints. We appreciate you tuning in, and we will be back soon with more analysis on breaking news and political events. In the Arizona House contest, which is currently taking place, former President Trump has endorsed Kari Lake against Blake Masters, who has been a long-standing supporter of Trump's. This shows how the political allegiances within the MAGA movement and the Republican Party are unexpected and dynamic. Not only does Trump's endorsement change the dynamics of the Arizona House race, but it also makes people wonder why and how he supports particular candidates. This change may be the result of a larger shift in the goals and direction of the MAGA movement, or it may be Trump's strategic calculation to identify with candidates he thinks have a better chance of winning. This unexpected shift in Trump's support is a major obstacle for Masters, who may see his campaign's momentum and his status among MAGA supporters affected. This incident highlights how influential Trump has been and will continue to be within the Republican Party, as well as the significance of his endorsement in the primary. It will be fascinating to see how these internal party dynamics, particularly in closely contested elections like the Arizona House primary, play out as the primary season continues. Examining the results of these races can provide a clearer understanding of the party's trajectory and the enduring impact of Trump's influence on its future. Do not forget to subscribe and remain informed for further updates and analysis on these developments. Feel free to share your views and opinions on these developing political situations in the comments area. We greatly appreciate your time and interest in this material. Have you any thoughts on this matter? Post your thoughts and opinions below, and we can have a conversation about it. His present political and legal situation is complicated, as he is facing many challenges in various jurisdictions over his ability to vote in the 2024 election and is also undergoing a civil fraud trial in Manhattan. Trump's interactions with artists in the courtroom, his challenge to the gag order, and the dispute over his ability to vote in 2024 are all illustrative of his present problems. Trump's jokes about his appearance in courtroom comedy shows indicate his efforts to maintain a positive public image despite being involved in serious legal proceedings. His friendship with the musicians could be an effort to put a face to his public persona while he is the subject of a rigorous legal investigation. Trump's decision to challenge the ruling to the New York Court of Appeals, after being penalized for violating the gag order, demonstrates his opposition to limitations on his public speech. This gag order, connected to Trump's social media post regarding Judge Arthur Engoron and law clerk Allison Greenfield, highlights the contradictions between his public statements and judicial processes. The attorneys general from states controlled by Republicans are making a strong attempt to contest Trump's eligibility to be on the 2024 ballot by citing the 14th Amendment's insurrection clause. This is a noteworthy development. This provision makes it illegal for anyone to occupy public office if they have committed an act of rebellion against the Constitution. A hearing before the Colorado Supreme Court is imminent, and the United States government may even step in. The challenges to Trump's political goals are significant, and the Supreme Court's decisions in these cases show how serious they are. Throughout the civil fraud trial, the lawsuit alleges that Trump inflated property values because he was on the Forbes list. Allegations that Trump instigated the attack on the United States on January 6 are central to the trial. The Capitol attack occurred after a lower court dismissed voters' arguments that the uprising was baseless due to Trump's involvement. While we wait, feel free to leave a comment with your opinions. Just give us a thumbs up if you think this video was really helpful. Okay, let's go on with the revelation of threatening communications by New York Attorney General Letitia James in a lawsuit against former President Donald Trump. The legal struggle surrounding him has become more intense. This video will explain everything. Before we go any further, I would really appreciate it if you could take a moment out of your day to subscribe to my channel and enable notifications so you never miss an update. These new details add a disturbing layer to the public figure's existence under legal scrutiny, the inquiry into the former president's actions, and the difficulties he is currently experiencing in court. A Newsweek article from Monday, December 11th, states that it clarifies the contentious matter involving Letitia James. In connection with the inquiry by Donald Trump, she disclosed that her office had received numerous menacing messages. Judicial records outline these communications, which highlight the potential implications of pursuing claims against renowned politicians and the high-risk components of judicial actions. A sobering reminder of the difficulties police have in seeking justice are the communications recorded in James' file. The court system is not the place for threats and intimidation. James' choice to make these communications public emphasizes the need for open and safe legal procedures, free from outside forces seeking to undermine justice ideals. The disclosure of threatening messages in this legal environment brings to light concerns about civility and respect in public discourse. Disagreements and arguments are normal in a democratic society, but when people turn to bullying and intimidation, it undermines the whole essence of a just and impartial justice system. A more civil and measured approach to public discourse is required by James' application. Even when contentious lawsuits are being considered, the significance of upholding procedural integrity in court processes involving public figures should not be underestimated. Despite the difficulties her office faces, Letitia James has shown the strength of character and will to defend the rule of law by publishing information about the threatening threats. Additionally, it raises bigger questions about who is responsible for what when things are said or done in public, by providing proof of the threats mentioned in James' file. No matter how much pressure a public person may be under, using threats or physical force to voice their disapproval runs counter to the democratic principles upon which our justice system is based. James' submission echoes the need for a more civil and productive discussion rooted in justice ideals. Revelations of threatening communications further complicate the story around the former president as the trial against him progresses. The film emphasizes how grave the inquiry was and how powerful the emotions that accompany legal action against powerful individuals can be. By going public with these messages, Letitia James has demonstrated that she will not let threats stop her from seeking justice and that she will be transparent no matter what. The chilling details provided by Letitia James regarding the threatening messages in the Trump case serve as a stark reminder of the difficulties encountered by law enforcement while seeking justice. This revelation highlights the significance of a legal process that is safe, respectful, and non-threatening in order to uphold justice values. As the court drama develops, the dangers highlighted in James' filing are a sobering reminder of how critical it is to protect the legitimacy of the justice system from outside influences and contentious arguments. In a related incident, it was recently reported that former President Trump had requested proof of election fraud from special counsel Jack Smith as part of his probe. However, this evidence does not exist because the 2020 election was legally lost, according to various audits and recounts. As CNN legal analyst Elie Honig analyzed the request, he pondered whether the judge would compel Smith and his staff to engage in a hot pursuit to uncover evidence that bolsters Trump's conspiracy beliefs. He voiced his doubts, pointing out that prosecutors are obligated to disclose a great deal. According to Honig, prosecutors must now turn over the evidence, witness statements, and what is known as an open file. As a defendant, Donald Trump is entitled to that. That is far from what he is requesting. Prosecutors should go looking for evidence that most likely does not exist, according to him. Oh, there must be proof of widespread voter fraud somewhere in the United States government, he remarks. Because that's also outside the prosecutor's job, Honig went on to add, the court would probably reject the request. It is your duty as a prosecutor to make public all information that is within your control, as well as that of the FBI and any other agency with which you collaborate. You won't have to go very far. In my opinion, the judge will reject it. This file is fascinating. Could you kindly tell me her thoughts on this? Make sure you also subscribe. Much obliged for your time.